I should be laughing. Like he's trying to scare everybody into living life right. You about to make these right decisions. Hey, listen, if you don't make those decisions at all, you're hurting yourself. It
Hey,
don't matter what you do. Is
but
you're gonna have to invest
even
correctly.
that, no judgment on that though, because life doesn't judge that. It's just a person chooses to experience
Mm.
like without integrating truth. It's no judgment in that. It's just that I choose this. You know.
Harry, does everybody have a purpose? Does every being on this earth have a purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, does every
Yes.
situation have a purpose?
Yes.
Well, why can't we accept that? Why is it so hard for us to accept that? Is it because it doesn't fit our reality? Is it like what is that part? What is that part?
Yeah. It doesn't fit what's true for me.
Hmm.
So I can't give up. It would require me to give up positionality. Which,
Hmm.
if you're not giving up your positionality, why would I give up my position? If you're not giving up your position, why would I give up mine? You know, we can't even agree on whether global warming exists or not
Man.
because there's so much non-truth superimposed on the truth, and the way the mind so easily is deceived. They know that if you say the same thing over and over, eventually people will believe it. There was a
Hmm.
person who I will not throw his name around, but basically was the reason for the Holocaust, or the leader of that mission, who wrote that in his book. Tell the lie, make the lie big, keep saying it, and eventually people will believe it. So we don't know all the programming that's being done. Like it just happens on a level. Like when they connect happy songs that are like if they want to connect with an audience that's in their 40s, they might do some Backstreet Boys or something around the time. They'll connect it with a product because they know that our wires, neurons that fire together, wire together. And so they know that our wires are plugged in to see this thing as a positive thing because it's euphoric. And so if I, in your state of euphoria, introduce a product to you, even if it's a bag of dog crap,
No.
you will begin to have this positive connotation, whatever product I introduce to that sequence of wiring. So commercials, the reason why they would pay to have the same commercials over and over and over and over again is because you can't help but buy into it after so many times of seeing it and hearing it.
You you see the dark and gloomy that I'm talking. That's what I'm talking. Hey, oh
Look,
yeah, man.
there's too
No, I
much.
feel that.
There's too much. There's too much, man. Like there's so many fear things out there. That's the thing. Like fear ain't scary when you're looking at it. Like when you truly like look at it and understand that it's a trick. It's sort of kind of like being a child and then going through the car wash, and your parents scare you the first time you go through it. But then as you
Mm.
get older, the parents are like, "Yo, we were just messing around with you. Ain't that gonna happen to you up in here? It's just really loud." And you start riding through it, and it's like, oh, okay, it's just noisy. The fear and the thought of death is no longer there. And so with that, you can see with more clarity. So the things I talk about is more like that. It's like, you know, I know you're afraid of going through the car wash, but you got to get clean.
Mm.
Like there's some doo doo there. Like, you know,
I don't know. I don't know who scared my mom. Cause well into her 70s, she couldn't go to no car wash without screaming.
There you go. There you
She was
go. Just knew it was
wild.
the end. She knew it was the end. You couldn't tell her nothing. You know what I'm saying? Her entire life flashes through her before her eyes every single time she goes to the car wash. Yeah, the fear do that. It was real for her. You know, so we can stay frozen in certain states. You know, certain levels of consciousness. That's another thing too. So the upside, you know, is that the freer that you get, the more like I really can't express. It's ineffable the feeling of like becoming freer. It's hard to describe that other than to say you just feel more liberated. Like less is on your,
Hmm.
you know, like less is important to you.
You feel
You know.
lighter. You're not carrying, the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can see with more clarity, and then you can get lit up because everybody does have a purpose. So if you don't know what that is, then right now your purpose is to discover your purpose.
Hmm. Start there. Yeah.
You know. But what if I never find out? That's a fear. That's fear talking.
Right.
Feed your faith and your doubt will have to starve to death. Like, you know, what if I never find it? Let that go. Fear thought. You will. Why would you be given something that you can't, remember or rediscover? Which is really not even a discovery. It's really remembering. We're coming back home. You know what I mean? So we return into love, like Marianne Williamson put it, you know. And as we are liberated from our fears, our very presence gives others permission to do the same. And so we become illuminated so that we can light up the light around others as well. And they can become illuminated too, which then lifts up the frequency of the entire globe. You know, negativity is not proportionate to the positive. It don't take everyone getting on the same positive tip because it won't be like that.
Right.
But when you tap into that frequency, if enough of us are there, there'll be a dramatic shift, which a shift is happening right now. Like I feel it intuitively, but there'll be a natural shift that occurs in the cosmos, not just the planet, the entire cosmos. You know, we got to remember we got stardust inside of us, like our skeletal structure. So we were born to shine. Like all the messages are there, but it's these falsehood. You know, that's why I got to speak to that. I got to speak to that falsehood. You know, because it's the veil. It keeps us from not really seeing ourselves with accuracy. So tools like mindfulness, bringing back to the present, um, to like remembering that fear is false evidence appearing real, and that the mind is super energized by fear, but freedom exists on the other side of your fears. Like
Facts.
remembering things like that. You know, being mindful of the fact that your mind has a tendency to have a negativity bias. And so are you looking at what you don't want or what you actually choose from your heart? Because them don't wants, wanting only invites in more of the same experience. And life makes no judgment on what you choose. So if you choose in wantingness, then wantingness is what you get. That's why you can't have what you want because it only produces more of the experience of wantingness. Which in our faith it says, "The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want."
Well,
But then later on it says, "Delight thyself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." There's a distinguishment between wanting and desires, but your desires are in alignment with your true purpose. Which at this point, if you don't know, your purpose is to figure out that purpose. Intentionality reflects relationship. Just you being intentional, even though you may not know, invites in the experience of true knowing because your intentional acts reflect your choice. I choose to know. I don't know, and I choose to know. It's okay to not know. You don't have to be scared about not knowing. The mind is freaked out by not knowing things. It'll really like lose it when it realizes how little it actually knows. It barely knows anything, but it needs to know to feel confident. You don't need to know. It's already known inside of you. So you don't need to know right now. But the lack of knowing or knowing that you don't know, that known unknown, seek out your truth in that space. And as you do that, you'll uncover a lot more unknown unknowns that become unknown knowns. Now you're getting to know the things that you didn't even know were out there for you to know. And as you convert more of those unknown unknowns into unknown knowns, and then those unknown knowns into known knowns.
Wait, is it unknown knowns or known unknowns?
Wait. Known unknowns. Excuse me.
Known unknowns.
Known
Gotcha.
unknowns. As you convert those unknown unknowns into
Oh yeah, look, I'm
known
here.
unknowns.
I'm here. I hear you.
Yeah.
Unknown and known and
Yeah. All that knowing, and then the known unknowns into known knowns, like true. You become more empowered, man. But then you realize that life is paradox. And so life doesn't give you what you want, but who you are. It's a choice.
Mm.
And there's always the choice to choose what you see, what the mind is limited to with its sight, or to choose what the witnesser behind the experience actually sees. There's a witnesser behind the experience of the experience. That's what we truly are. That's that higher self. So we give this a break, this attachment to me a break. We can free up more energy to tap in and plug into the witnesser behind the experience. And from that sky level view, it could tell us what's really going on. Because in ego, you in snapshot. You're at eye level in ego. You can't see beyond that little portion that you're at. Your vision is limited. At sky level, again, you see the whole beach. If you're looking for something or somebody, you won't be in that airplane looking at the whole beach. So it requires us to go in, not out. That's where you see it. The lit effect, elevating perspectives from eye level to sky level. So I'm gonna be talking about this all year long. And if you have not, sign up. Get on that email list at becomeanoutlier.com.
Becomeanoutlier.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Young Reezy, is there anything else you would like to say to the people?
Well, we got the music on right there. Man, listen, man, eat well. Do your mindfulness exercises, your diaphragmatic breathing exercises. Eat some vegetables. Depending on the fruit, lay off of some of the fruits, man. You want to stay as healthy and as wealthy as possible. Man, take care of yourself in 2024. We going all in. And we
All
going
in.
up. Let's go. Appreciate you for putting me on the platform and having me on the show.
Oh yeah. Always a pleasure. Young Broskino. Conscious Reezy, Henry T, father of three. And y'all know me, the NOC.
Yeah. On the MIC.
Yeah, on the MIC. Come on, man. Come on. Hey, this has just been another another session of Kaleidoscope Conversations, a family gathering on diverse topics. We don't know what we're going to talk about and when we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get up here and speak and we're going to dialogue about whatever. So if you feel it, you feel it. If you hear me, you can hear me. If you see me, you see me, But as always, my mission is to assist others in developing the audacity to live unapologetically authentic. I am the nocturnal therapist. Y'all know where to see me at. Y'all know the website. I appreciate y'all who tuned in. Tell your people about me. Tell your aunt, your grandma, tell your priest, your rabbi, your minister, whoever, your pastor. Let them know I'm out here.